Okay. Let's see, let me get my. I go to my. Yes. Get that. Okay. Let me just test. There we go. Let's see if I can add. Let's see. This. Let's see how this looks. Gotcha. I see. Okay. It's probably not the way to be doing it. That's fine. Get that out. Okay. Go over. Streamer man. Okay. Twitter again suspended Kanye West's account after the musician and designer posted a swastika in a tweet that the social media platform's owner, Elon Musk, said violated the rules. West, who goes by Ye, and had recently returned from a previous suspension, Thursday, posted a picture of swastika merged with the Star of David. That's on Twitter too. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Mr. West's account then began displaying a message saying it was suspended with no tweets visible. Musk, who on Twitter has described himself as a free speech absolutist, has said Twitter generally should intervene only to comply with local laws. Okay. Locked this account. Jesus Christ. Okay. Oh, I see. DEFCON 3. Accuse people. DEFCON. What the fuck is DEFCON? Yeah. Okay. Oh my god. Death. Okay, well. Makes sense. Mr. West's account was restored in November, with Musk saying on Twitter the suspension was done before his acquisition of the company. They did not consult with or inform me. Last week, Mr. Musk said he would reinstate suspended accounts, except for, let's see. Was that? No, wait. Okay. Bro. Okay. How long suspension? Wait. Last week said he would reinstated. Trump. That drop from shit. Interesting. I wonder if how big of a role McKinsey played. I see. Okay, sorry. Parliament Technologies said Thursday, sale to Mr. West has been terminated. Okay. Gotta create a fucking account. There are women here, okay. Fuck that shit. In the interest of both parties. In a world where conservative opinions are considered to be controversial, we have to make sure we have the right to freely express ourselves. And yay. It's actually pretty scary, all the, like the... Like, okay. This is fucking hell. There was, what's the, oh, I have it on. This is just a fucking... It's... Jesus. Yeah, give me the fucking market watch. See, if someone did a write-up on this. I wonder if it's going up in price because they saw it as like a fucking loss. Yeah. Reputation attacks. Recently with Purpose, Inc., DBA, GloriFi, I don't know what DBA is, but doing business as, okay, GloriFi, experienced a series of financial challenges related to startup mistakes, reputation attacks, the declining economy, multiple negative media stories. As a result, board of directors and leadership of GloriFi came to the heartbreaking conclusion that we need to wind down the company's operations. Efforts are underway in helping our customers resolve their accounts. Look for more daily information and updates. This is not a result of any action by you, and we sincerely apologize for any inconvenience this may cause you. Oh my goodness. Weren't they? Okay. Let's read the greatest fucking news stories ever. Texas startup that sought to build conservative banking alternatives shutting down. GloriFi has laid off most of its employees, told them that it is closing up shop, according to people familiar with the matter, and emails to employees reviewed by the Wall Street Journal. The company's fate became clear on Friday when funding that it hoped would carry it through the first quarter fell through. Kathy Landtroop, the company's chief marketing and communications officer, said in an email to employees. Here, I'll put the link in. Okay. The financial challenges related to startup mistakes, the failing economy, reputational attacks, and multiple negative stories took their toll, Ms. Landtroop wrote in an email. GloriFi's app made its debut in September. The company said customers could open checking and savings account and apply for credit cards. The app was aimed at people who saw Wall Street as too liberal and wanted a bank that shared their values. An October article in the journal detailed GloriFi's turbulent start. The company missed launch dates, blaming faulty technology and failures by vendors. It laid off dozens of employees. Some said that the founder, Toby Nussbauer, had a volatile temper and drank on the job. Oh, I read about this, and they worked in his house, yeah. Company's unusual workspace, Mr. Nussbauer's home, added distractions. He stepped down as CEO following the article's publication. Interesting. Became company's executive chairman. Raised about $50 million from A-list group of investors last year. In July, GloriFi announced a deal to merge with Digital DHG Acquisition Corp. A SPAC. Okay. So, that. Let me change the fucking fuck. Change the stream title. Okay. Oh boy. So one sec, before we read the other one. Step down, according to an email. His resignation follows a journal article. Okay, so it may be as a result. I don't know if this is like a fucking, I guess this is a fucking like hit piece kind of thing. I think I've read this, but not on stream. Okay. A-list group of financial backers, including Ted Griffin, Peter Thiel, and Toby Neuschbauer. Wait,
How a new anti-woke bank stumbled. GloriFi CEO Toby Neugebauer won over
Neugebauer. Tens of millions to build a new kind of bank. One aimed at people who see Wall Street as too liberal. What I'm trying to find is the way that it worked. Dude, what a fucking giga chad. Oh yeah. That right. So they don't actually have a bank. Which, okay. Wait, I wanna, okay, there's shitter bank. They have actually really shit rates. Right, that's what I wanted to, see. That's the other thing I wanted to see. Okay. Okay, man, this is a great movie, Spurs. Such a coincidence that I, bad econ strawman, agree with you so much and say exactly what you're thinking. I know, isn't it? Wait, hold on, here's one of my favorite scenes.
That is not the case. The Arabs have taken billions of dollars out of this country, and now they must put it back.
Okay, 4 minutes. The, man, what a globalist neoliberal shill. High five. But wait, weren't you going to RI that thing? That u/BReal suggested he described it as black hole levels of bullshit density. Said he did that a month ago, lazy fucker. I know, I have the Febreze ready. Nice. Wait, is this in Bad Econ? Oh, no. Again, this is a... Holy shit. Okay, this looks like it's fucking wrong. Okay. 2 years later, after the Nixon shock, series of economic measures undertaken by the United States, Richard Nixon in 1971, in response to increasing inflation, most significant of which were wage and price freezes, surcharges on imports, unilateral cancellation, the direct international convertibility of the US dollar to gold. Okay, so it's basically taking us off the gold standard. Okay, this... yeah, I'm not gonna trust the source line. Okay. 2 years later, after the Nixon shock, in an effort to maintain global demand for US dollars, another system was created called the petrodollar system. In 1973, this is wrong, it was 1974, a deal was struck between Saudi Arabia and the United States, which every barrel of oil purchased from the Saudis would be denominated in US dollars. Under this new arrangement, any country that sought to purchase oil from Saudi Arabia would be required to first exchange their own national currency for US dollars. In exchange for Saudi Arabia's willingness to denominate their oil sales exclusively in US dollars, the United States offered weapons and protection of their oil fields from neighboring nations, including Israel. By 1975, all the OPEC nations had agreed to price their own oil supplies exclusively in US dollars in exchange for weapons and military protection. This is basically Mr. Robinson's core argument, that there was a deal made between the US and OPEC, particularly the Saudis, pricing oil in dollars. This becomes super fucking nefarious in a bit, but this story has to start in Bretton Woods, as it must. As you may remember, Bretton Woods was a place and became the name of the system of the international agreement that's setting up the financial system in the post-war period, up until the 1970s when it began to unravel. A key feature, okay, so it wasn't the gold standards. A key feature was that participating nations would peg their currencies, which had everywhere abandoned the gold standard, to the dollar. Okay, which in turn was pegged to gold. Now you may remember, wait, didn't we leave the gold standard in the 1930s? The US did. Gold was demonetized domestically in the US in 1933. Yeah. I mean, this is like ultimately the problem with the gold standard is that you just have hoarding, because you have, that's why deflation is just so fucking bad, because you're just incentivized to keep hoarding money, and like you never get out of the cycle, compared to inflation, which encourages spending because your dollar's going to be worth less later, so you're more incentivized to spend it now, which stimulates the economy, like encourages growth. A key feature in U.S. did. Gold was demonetized domestically, U.S. 1933, but internationally, people could and did trade dollars for gold, called the gold window. Okay. Collapse of the gold pool forced an official policy maintaining a two-tiered market system of stipulating an official exchange standard of 35 US dollars. The gold pool members refused to trade gold with private persons. The United States pledged to suspend gold sales to governments that traded in the private markets, created an open opportunity for some participants to exploit the gold window by converting currency reserves into gold, selling the metal in the gold markets at higher rates. Gotcha. So you had the ability, to some degree, to trade for gold. Because of that demonetization, Milton Friedman commented in Monetary History, written during Bretton Woods, that since 1934, U.S. has been on the gold standard in little but name. few months in 1933. U.S. could no longer be regarded as an economically minor part of the gold standard world. Okay. So under Bretton Woods, we had a system of currencies all pegged to the US dollar, which in turn was convertible to gold, though many currencies were, for some years, not really convertible to dollars. Robinson comments, the US dollar would be pegged at a fixed rate to gold. This made the US dollar completely convertible into gold at a fixed rate of $35 per ounce within the global economic community. The international convertibility into gold allayed concerns about the fixed rate regime, created a sense of financial security among nations in pegging their currency's value to the dollar. Sure. After all, the Bretton Woods arrangement provided an escape hatch. If a particular nation no longer felt comfortable with the dollar, they could easily convert their dollars holdings into gold. This arrangement helped restore a much-needed stability in the financial system, but it also accomplished one other very important thing. Bretton Woods Agreement instantly created a strong global demand for US dollars as the preferred medium of exchange. And along with the strong demand for US dollars came the need for a larger supply of dollars. This doesn't make any sense when you realize that if my French francs are convertible for dollars and into gold, then it ought to be easy to trade francs into gold. In practice, those fixed exchange rates to the dollar were variable. Okay. I'll probably read the book. Okay, so you had levels of variation. Okay. Yeah, fixed exchange rates to the dollar were variable. This seems greatly variable, actually. Although, maybe I'm wrong. This was largely because of the massive Marshall Plan investment. Let's look at that. I think, yeah, the Economic Recovery Act. Providing foreign aid. Oh yeah, fucking weirdos complaining about this, but... And Reconstruction worked to turn areas of the world and rapidly shifting economic situations, especially Europe. This gave rise to the thing that Mr. Robinson never mentioned. Eurodollars. Term Eurodollar refers to U.S. dollar-denominated deposits at foreign banks or the overseas branches of American banks. Because they are held outside the United States, Eurodollars are not subject to regulation by the Federal Reserve Board, including reserve requirements, so like the FDIC stuff. Wait, no, that's different. Yeah, this is different, sorry. The reserve requirements are like, so if you're lending out 90% of the money, like you have to hold some stuff in reserve, so that you're not lending out, because if you lend out 100%, basically you don't have to be holding any money. You don't even need like any money of your own to be lending out. So you could theoretically just like take a bunch of people's and then keep lending it out over and over. But if people all try to withdraw, like it would be fucked. And so that's why they have levels of reserve requirements that you need. And I think it changes based on the rates I'm not sure. Okay, so now they're widely held Bahamas, Cayman Islands. Deposits can pay higher interest, but they become more risky, which makes sense. It seems it's like a middle ground, I'm guessing. Euro dollar interest rate. Jesus. Okay. Gotcha. The euro dollar is trading, so it's giving like 5% interest right now. Yeah, wait, we can see over time. Oh, that's volume. Is that... Okay, do they have... fucking... Okay, so it was fucking paying 7%. Jesus. Quotes. Oh, okay. So these are the fucking contracts. This, okay. This is a really, this means there's a good sign for stocks. And this is more international stocks than like current ones, but that is meaningful. Alright, let's see. It's giving me quotes. Here we go. It's the lowest they've been in a bit. Wait. It's the lowest they've been in a long time. Holy shit. That's so low. Wait, when was this? Oh, yeah. Because that's when the fucking market was booming. Booming. And this is when you had the first drop for the pandemic. Nice. Nice. Cool. It's good to know about. When Mr. Robinson talks about growing foreign demand for dollars, that's the name for it. Euro dollar is a dollar owned by someone outside the U.S. Post-war era, because of the reliability of dollars over pounds, Reichmarks, sterling, etc., this became a tradable currency outside the United States. U.S. displaced British pound, premier stable international currency. A pool of U.S. dollars outside the U.S. came into being, those euro dollars. The euro part no longer means anything. Any dollar abroad is a euro dollar, but for historical reasons we call them euro dollars. So euro yen and euro euros, if you're feeling cheeky. Nice. There are several reasons that people want to hold dollars abroad that are non-nefarious. U.S. economy is huge. Nominal terms. This is one time we prefer nominal rather than real, because we're talking about financial flows at exchange rates rather than real purchasing power. Remains the largest economy. This was even bigger relatively during Bretton Woods. Well, yeah, because we had higher growth rates because we weren't yet like necessarily the most advanced economy, but we were getting there. If I want to hold a foreign currency, I would prefer to hold it in a very big market rather than a small one. Yeah, just because of volume. Like the liquidity, and you have the liquidity means you have more accurate like price finding. Yeah, makes sense. Convertibility. I think this goes along with that. U.S. economy during Bretton Woods and since has been one of the most open economies. Wasn't as open as it was now. It wasn't as open as it probably is now, but during the first half of Bretton Woods, many currencies were non-convertible as economies recovered. There were restrictions on how much gold, how much sterling you could put in and take out of Britain. The purpose being to stabilize financial flows. This made the dollar valuable because if I'm in Paris and I have a pound in hand, I would like to be able to spend it, not stopped at Dover and strip searched. Okay. But if I have a dollar, I can bring this to New York, buy a cheeseburger. This is also the reason that the Chinese yuan is not popular in FX markets and international reserves yet. It's so non-convertible that there are different exchange rates for offshore and onshore Chinese yuan. Holy shit. Wow. Okay. FX trading. Remember back in Micro 101 that the convenience of wants thing, where if I want a cheeseburger, but I have, say, elite computer programming skills, it's hard to find that coincidence, and I will starve. The global foreign exchange FX market is a border economy. There is no official legal tender. If I'm in London and want Kenyan shillings, that will be hard. That coincidence might be rare and expensive. However, people do trade dollars for pounds and dollars for shillings. So I trade dollar pound and then dollar shilling. The dollar becomes an unofficial currency of FX markets thereby. If you don't believe me, 87% of FX trades go through dollars. Oh my gosh. So on one side, 87% of all trades in April 2013. Euro was 33%. Gotcha. Ugh. This isn't because 87% want to buy/sell dollars on the planet. They're doing that in two trades. Nevertheless, this does create demand for a pool of currency outside the United States. People use euro-dollar more broadly than I'm using it here. There are derivatives, interbank markets, etc., and euro-dollars outside the US, but everybody is talking about it in the currency sense. Also, when I say held outside, this is like printing money. It's a casual way of saying something. Practice, these are often numbers at Fed accounts held by foreigners. Likewise, printing money is a number on a Fed database. Economic war, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing, say it again. Jensen on TV. There's only one holistic system of systems, one vast and main, interwoven, interacting, multivariate, multinational dominion of dollars. Petrodollars, electrodollars, multi-dollars, Reichsmarks, rands, rubles, pounds, and shekels. Sounds pissed. Mr. Robinson doesn't mention a figure, but it exists. On page 114 of the Flow of Funds report, which no longer exists. flow of funds. What is rest of the world? Nice. We're looking at gross investment, checkable deposits, and currency. Okay. Is this net? No. Wait. Confused. It looks like it's... When was this made? 6 years ago. Okay. It looks like they're divesting though. Almost 20% of U.S. money deposits is outside the U.S. Robinson makes the case that this figure and phenomenon allows the U.S. to export inflation. It's not entirely wrong. If you have a pool of U.S. dollars outside the U.S., it's the same effect on the price level in the U.S. as if the U.S. printed a dollar. Whoever they gave it to just buried it. Yep, fair. Money is created and circulates outside in foreign banks. Obviously, individual dollars come back, but another leaves, so there's a pool of dollars that aren't circulating and being levered to affect prices in the U.S. Robinson makes the case that this is a nefarious plot to allow the U.S. to devalue its currency and export inflation, which has been accompanied by bullying, invading, and cutting defense deals. If those euro dollars came flooding back into the U.S., you'd have inflation. That assumes the Fed does nothing. People make this argument selling these dollars or other financial assets like U.S. Treasuries would be a devastating form of economic warfare that would create havoc in the U.S. Thing is, the Fed can suck liquidity out and sanitize these effects. Yeah, there'd be turmoil, but this kind of turmoil would provide the Fed with exactly the situation it wants. Higher inflation and the opportunity to raise rates. Also, if you compare the magnitude, even if all those dollars came back on Monday, it would be a fraction of the size of quantitative easing, which was several trillion. Most of it would end up sitting in excess reserves anyway. But the larger problem with this argument is that there are perfectly good reasons that this pool of money exists, which I explained in my last section. There's no reason to expect demand for Eurodollars to collapse in the way our buddy argues. You also get the sense from Robinson's argument that huge multiples of US currency have been created and stuffed into foreign countries, but no. It's worse. He says that the Fed is a private banking cartel that earns interest in dollar prints and shows us this picture. Okay. Gotcha. That this was about petrodollars. It is, I'm getting there. But he gives us a definition of petrodollars. Petrodollar is a US dollar received by an oil producer in exchange for selling oil. And that is then deposited into Western banks. I agree with the first half. Petrodollar is a US dollar received by an oil producer for selling oil. He goes on to argue that the US forced or made dirty deals with these countries to price oil in dollars. The thing is that it's rational for oil producers to price their product in dollars. Going back to my Eurodollars at gunpoint spiel, for the same reasons that 87% of all FX trades go through dollars, it's rational for someone in Kenya with Kenyan shillings to pay for Saudi oil in dollars, rather than have to trade shillings for Saudi oil. Oil, I'm guessing. Real. Oh, I see, yeah, that's the currency. The other thing is that when OPEC decided in 1975 to trade oil in dollars after Bretton Woods collapsed, it wasn't really changing anything. During the fixed exchange rate regime at Bretton Woods, oil was functionally traded in gold, which internationally was $1. Setting prices in dollars again was setting prices in dollars as they always had been. Just now, both oil prices and dollar exchange rates floated. But let's talk about that then deposited into Western banks part, because that's interesting. Eurodollars do create demand for dollars outside the US and offset some inflation. And that's a square argument. The problem is that depositing a petrodollar back in the US, which is where you'd want to put them, does not create a demand for dollars. Wait. In fact, it satisfies some demand for dollars. Okay, yeah, so it's back in the cycle. One thing I love about Network is even though it's dark comedy, it's also not. Right. TV network Jensen runs is being sold to an Arab-owned conglomerate. People were aware of this, called Petrodollar Recycling. Oil prices are soaring. Saudi Arabia is making a ton. Saudi Arabia is basically a thin layer of sand over an ocean of oil that you can sink a drinking straw into. You have an oil rig. Actually, I think the dinosaurs were kind enough to just bury the oil up, barrel the oil up. So you dig and boom, oil barrel. Makes them heavily dependent on oil exports, oil price stability in the country. They have to keep the dollar real exchange rate stable. You do that by buying dollar-denominated stuff like US government debt, TV networks. This pushes the real back down and keeps the rate stable. The result is that Saudi Arabia, along with other oil-dependent economies, pays their currency to the dollar. Now, it is true that a deal was made between the US and Saudi Arabia. Bloomberg detailed it this year. The deal was actually to make it easier for Saudi Arabia to send its dollars back to the US. As you know, there was an oil embargo in the 1970s. Recent unpleasantness The Israelis and the Saudis did not especially want to let the world know that they were investing in Israel's closest ally. To make it easier, the US hid exactly how much the Saudis were recycling these petrodollars. It's worth noting two other things. This is far from unique to oil exporters. China is the largest foreign holder of US government debt. They did this for the exact same reason, to stabilize prices and promote foreign trade. They've also been cutting treasury holdings lately because they want to strengthen the yuan. But that's a story for another day. Japan did this. Everyone that wanted to manage their exchange rate did this. Well, looks like Japan is at this point, but China was. They all fucking do it at this point. Crazy. See, Saudi Arabia holds a large amount. But compared to like Belgium, the Cayman Islands, right? Some like Luxembourg, Ireland, like the tax havens. Like Brazil, Taiwan is starting to do, India, just because of the size of their country. And like France and Canada, both are interested in our success. Japan. So, yeah. So most are treasury bonds and notes, not bills. Okay. That's it, that's how it works. Look somewhere else for something evil. Okay. Wowie. It's a fun article. Let's see. Good shit this year. Okay, well. Okay. I think that's pretty good for now. I'm gonna stop the stream and